Why older adults keep waking up at 3 a.m. and what it really means for your health and sleep, senior. For many older adults, the experience of suddenly being wide awake at 3 a.m., staring into the quiet darkness, is a common and often bewildering phenomenon, prompting questions about what might be fundamentally changing within their bodies or minds. This isn't merely a trivial sleep disruption or an inevitable consequence of aging. Rather, it's a widespread occurrence rooted in profound physiological, psychological, and lifestyle shifts that unfold over the lifespan, offering crucial insights into one's overall health and well-being. This exploration delves into the multifaceted reasons behind these early morning awakenings, presenting them not as failures, but as eloquent messages from the body and mind, attempting to communicate needs that often go unacknowledged during the bustling daytime hours. By understanding the intricate interplay of hormonal changes, evolving sleep architecture, subtle health challenges, ingrained daily routines, and surfacing emotional landscapes, individuals can transform their relationship with sleep, moving from frustration to a place of informed compassion and proactive self-care. These explanations transcend superficial observations, drawing upon established principles of human physiology, developmental psychology, and the dynamic rhythms of aging that subtly recalibrate our internal clocks and sensory perceptions. We will uncover how the production of vital sleep-regulating hormones naturally wanes, how the entire sleep-wake cycle gradually shifts forward, how dormant health issues can become pronounced in the stillness of night, how deeply embedded daily habits shape our internal timings, and even how the quiet of the pre-dawn hours can become a profound stage for emotional processing and reflection. Each dimension offers a unique lens through which to interpret these nocturnal interruptions, revealing deeper truths about one's current state of health and the cumulative tapestry of life experiences. By embracing this deeper understanding, older adults are empowered to view their sleep not as a broken mechanism to be fixed, but as a responsive system that, with mindful adjustments and a compassionate approach, can be guided toward more restorative rest and a greater sense of peace. One of the most evident and biologically rooted reasons why older adults frequently find themselves roused from sleep in the middle of the night, often precisely around the 3 a.m. mark, is the natural and progressive decline in the body's endogenous production of melatonin. This critical hormone, synthesized primarily by the pineal gland, acts as the primary orchestrator of our sleep-wake cycle, serving as the body's internal timekeeper by signaling to the brain when it is time to transition into sleep and to maintain that state of rest. In the vibrant years of youth, the body typically generates a robust, consistent surge of melatonin each evening, fostering effortless sleep onset and sustaining deep, uninterrupted slumber throughout the night. However, as the decades accumulate, this natural melatonin secretion gradually diminishes. This reduction isn't merely a minor adjustment, it represents a significant chemical shift that profoundly impacts the architecture and duration of sleep. While falling asleep initially might remain relatively easy, particularly after a day filled with activity or a calming evening routine, the crucial hours of the early morning, typically between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., become vulnerable. During this window, the already reduced natural supply of melatonin often dips below the threshold required to maintain a profound state of rest, subtly shifting the brain's delicate balance back toward wakefulness. The experience isn't one of being abruptly awakened by an external disturbance or a vivid dream. Rather, it feels like a gentle, almost imperceptible drift from sleep back to full alertness, as if the brain is simply completing its sleep cycle prematurely due to insufficient hormonal support. This biological recalibration is neither a personal failing nor a sign of bodily malfunction. It is simply an intrinsic aspect of the aging process, reflecting an evolving internal chemistry. Furthermore, the modern bedroom environment can exacerbate this natural decline. Even the smallest intrusion of light, whether it's the glow from a distant street lamp filtering through a window, the digital luminescence of an alarm clock, or a sliver of hallway light escaping under the door, can powerfully suppress the already dwindling melatonin production. Older eyes and brains often become increasingly sensitive to these subtle environmental triggers, making that 3 a.m. awakening feel disproportionately frustrating and unavoidable. Consider Harold, a 72-year-old who, for most of his life, prided himself on being an excellent sleeper, effortlessly achieving 8 hours of deep rest. Yet, in recent years, he began to consistently find himself wide awake around 3:15 a.m., feeling entirely alert and ready to face the day, despite the darkness outside. Initially, he attributed it to generalized old age or perhaps unacknowledged stress, leading to a sense of self-reproach. However, once he understood that his body's natural melatonin production was simply undergoing an age-related decline, he shifted his perspective from self-blame to proactive management. Harold meticulously darkened his bedroom, installing thick blackout curtains and opting for a red light clock that emits less sleep-disrupting blue light. He also committed to avoiding all backlit screens, phones, tablets, e-readers for at least 90 minutes before bed, replacing them with a printed book under a warm, dim lamp. Additionally, he integrated a consistent, brisk 20-minute walk around dusk, strategically exposing himself to natural diminishing light, which helps reinforce his circadian rhythm and optimize the timing of his remaining melatonin release. These thoughtful, informed adjustments didn't eliminate all early awakenings, but they significantly reduced their frequency and intensity, allowing him to work synergistically with his body's natural changes rather than against them. This profound understanding empowers individuals to reframe their experiences, replacing self-criticism with self-compassion and fostering a wiser, more effective approach to nurturing restful sleep in later life. Another prevalent and biologically driven factor contributing to early morning awakenings in older adults is a natural and gradual forward shift in the body's intrinsic clock, a phenomenon scientifically termed advanced sleep phase. As the years progress, our meticulously calibrated circadian rhythms, which govern not only sleep but countless other bodily functions, subtly begin to move forward in their timing. This means there's an increasing predisposition to feel sleepy considerably earlier in the evening and, consequently, to awaken naturally much earlier in the morning. You might observe yourself nodding off unexpectedly during an evening movie that once held your full attention, or finding yourself spontaneously wide awake at dawn, even on days when your conscious desire is for prolonged rest. This isn't a mere shift in preference or an acquired habit. It is a deep-seated biological recalibration, progressively becoming more pronounced with each passing year. In younger adulthood, the body's circadian rhythm is typically harmonized with a later bedtime and a morning awakening that feels more aligned with the sunrise or typical societal schedules. However, as this internal rhythm advances, the entire sleep window naturally shifts forward. Consequently, you might effortlessly drift into sleep as early as 9 p.m. or even before, without any deliberate intention to do so. When your body enters sleep at an earlier hour, it naturally completes its full necessary cycle of rest sooner. By the time 3 a.m. arrives, your physiological need for sleep may have been largely satisfied, leading you to feel completely alert and rested, even though the world outside remains steeped in darkness. This altered schedule doesn't signify a malfunction. It simply indicates that your internal biological clock is operating on a different, advanced timetable. Imagine it as a finely tuned clock whose hands have been imperceptibly nudged forward a little bit each season, gradually shifting its entire operational cycle. While this biological adaptation is not inherently detrimental, it can induce considerable frustration, particularly if one's daily lifestyle, family routines, or personal preferences remain anchored to an earlier, more conventional schedule. There's also a subtle, yet potent psychological dimension to this age-related shift. Many older adults inhabit quieter homes, experience reduced social interaction, or spend more time in solitude. This serene, often low-stimulus environment can amplify the body's inherent signals to wind down earlier in the day. Without the constant hum of activity, the demands of a busy work schedule, or the social engagements that once delayed bedtime, the body's internal system initiates its nightly shutdown process considerably sooner. Furthermore, for those who are retired or no longer bound by strict daily routines, the absence of external temporal cues, such as fixed meeting times, regular commutes, or vibrant social gatherings, can allow this internal circadian shift to manifest even more powerfully and unimpeded. Consider Charles, a 68-year-old retiree. His evenings became noticeably quieter after leaving his demanding career. He regularly ate dinner around 5:30 p.m., watched an hour of television, and found himself falling asleep by 9 p.m. most nights. Consequently, his body, having completed its rest, was naturally ready to awaken around 3 a.m. Initially, he diagnosed himself with insomnia, feeling confused and somewhat inadequate. However, upon learning about the advanced sleep phase, he recognized that his sleep wasn't broken. It had simply been subtly rescheduled. Empowered by this insight, Charles deliberately began adjusting his evening routine to gently stretch his wakefulness a little longer. He started reading a captivating book under a warm, strategically placed light for an extra hour, took a leisurely, gentle walk after dinner to increase his evening activity, and made it a point to call his daughter for a brief chat before bed a few times a week, leveraging social interaction as a natural zeitgeber to gently delay his sleep onset. These thoughtful and minor social and sensory cues helped to slightly expand his sleep window, subtly shifting his natural wake-up time closer to the morning light. The gratifying outcome was a notable reduction in 3 hours a.m. awakenings and a profounder sense of harmony and alignment between his body's natural rhythm and his desired daily life. This intrinsic shift in the sleep cycle is a universal experience for many older adults, yet it remains surprisingly under-discussed. Recognizing and understanding it can alleviate immense guilt and confusion, offering a more compassionate and effective pathway to collaborate with one's body rather than struggling against its evolving nature. Beyond hormonal and circadian shifts, physical discomfort and underlying health challenges frequently serve as powerful, albeit quiet, disruptors that rouse older adults from sleep around 3 a.m. As the body ages, the likelihood of developing or experiencing chronic conditions and subtle health issues naturally increases, and many of these conditions possess a distinct tendency to manifest or intensify during the quiet, immobile hours of the night. These interruptions often creep in subtly without loud alarms: a persistent ache in a joint, the unmistakable urge of a full bladder, a sudden, sharp twinge in the back, or the insidious burn of acid reflux. Any of these discomforts can be potent enough to draw an individual out of a deep, restorative sleep state right in the middle of the night. Conditions such as osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or fibromyalgia, for instance, can render prolonged periods of lying still in one position profoundly uncomfortable. While the initial onset of sleep might be undisturbed, after several hours of relative immobility, the accumulation of aches, stiffness, or inflammatory pain can become intense enough to trigger an awakening. For others, particularly after an evening meal, nighttime. Acid reflux disease, GERD, can be a significant culprit, stirring them from sleep with sensations ranging from a mild burning in the chest to a choking sensation, especially if dinner was consumed too late or if they recline too soon afterward. Even seemingly minor physiological sensations, such as an irritating dry mouth, the painful grip of muscle cramps, or even a slight unnoticed fluctuation in room temperature, can trigger a light awakening during the vulnerable early morning hours, when the body's sleep defenses are already more sensitive and less tolerant than in younger years. One of the most ubiquitous physical reasons older men, in particular, experience these 3 a.m. wake-ups is nocturia, the frequent need to urinate during the night. With age, the bladder's elasticity and capacity often diminish, and the urge to relieve it can become more pressing and frequent. During the daytime, distractions, activity, and social engagement often keep the mind occupied, allowing one to ignore or delay this sensation. However, At 3 a.m., in the profound stillness and darkness of the bedroom, that physiological signal becomes impossible to disregard. Once an individual rises and moves, even for the brief journey to the bathroom, the body's state shifts from deep, consolidated rest to a lighter state of alertness, making the return to profound sleep significantly more challenging. Furthermore, the role of prescription medications, which many older adults routinely take for conditions ranging from hypertension and cardiovascular health to pain management and diabetes, cannot be overstated. Many of these pharmaceuticals come with known side effects that can insidiously disrupt sleep patterns. Common side effects include increased urination, diuretics, changes in body temperature, certain cardiac medications, heightened sensitivity to noise or light, some neurological medications, or even direct interference with sleep architecture, beta blockers, certain antidepressants. Individuals may not initially connect their medication regimen with their disrupted sleep patterns until a healthcare professional highlights the potential link, or they begin meticulously tracking their daily habits. Consider Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who had always been a somewhat light sleeper, yet generally managed adequate rest. Over the past year, however, she began waking up consistently around 3:30 a.m., feeling a profound need to use the bathroom. After months of attributing it vaguely to just getting older, she discussed her persistent issue with her doctor. Through careful review, they discovered that one of her blood pressure medications, a diuretic, was significantly affecting her hydration balance and increasing her nocturnal trips to the bathroom. With her doctor's expert guidance, Eleanor adjusted the timing of her medication dosage, moving it to earlier in the day to minimize its effect during the night. She also implemented a few mindful lifestyle changes, such as limiting fluid intake in the few hours before bed and incorporating gentle stretching exercises to alleviate general nighttime discomfort. As a result, she now wakes up far less frequently, and when she does, finds it considerably easier to transition back into a restful state. It is crucial to internalize that these physical awakenings are not indicators of a body failing. Rather, they are often powerful signs that the body is actively working, responding, alerting, and attempting to adjust to internal changes. These signals, when listened to with awareness, can serve as invaluable guides toward more informed self-care, wiser choices, and a deeper, more trusting relationship with one's own physical sensations. A 3 a.m. awakening, though inconvenient, can thus be reframed as a quiet, persistent nudge to pay closer attention, to check in with one's bodily needs, and to implement small yet impactful changes that cultivate both better health and profoundly deeper, more consolidated rest. Beyond biology and health, the cumulative impact of daily lifestyle habits and subtle routine shifts represents another powerful yet frequently underestimated contributor to older adults finding themselves awake at 3 a.m. Over the course of years, seemingly minor choices and established routines can quietly but profoundly reshape the body's intricate internal rhythm. Many older individuals naturally gravitate toward earlier dinner times, initiate their wind-down routines sooner in the evening, and experience a reduction in overall physical and mental activity throughout their day, particularly after retirement. These seemingly innocuous adjustments, when accumulated, send powerful signals to the body, indicating that the night should commence earlier, an unconscious recalibration that by extension inevitably pushes the natural wake-up time earlier as well. When daily lives become less structured and demanding, especially following the cessation of a career, the body no longer receives the same array of strong external time cues, or Zeitgebers, that it once relied upon. The consistent rhythm of commuting, the necessity of running errands at specific times, or the engagement in physically and mentally stimulating tasks throughout the day all previously served to anchor the body's internal clock. Without these regular external synchronizers, the body's inherent sleep-wake cycle can begin to drift forward, unmoored from a fixed schedule. A calm, dimly lit evening spent with minimal stimulation can inadvertently prompt the brain to release melatonin melatonin prematurely, inviting sleep before one even consciously registers that the clock has struck 9 p.m. Once sleep commences earlier, the body simply completes its necessary duration of rest earlier, leading to natural awakenings in the still pre-dawn hours, often precisely around 3 a.m. There's also a subtle, yet critical, relationship between the timing of food intake and the quality of sleep. Consuming dinner significantly earlier, while often perceived as a healthy choice, can sometimes lead to an overnight dip in blood sugar levels, particularly if there is no small, balanced snack closer to bedtime. This hypoglycemic dip, though not always consciously perceived as hunger, can nevertheless trigger a subtle stress response within the body, prompting the release of cortisol and adrenaline, which are potent arousal agents capable of rousing the body from sleep. Similarly, the timing of caffeine consumption plays a crucial role. Even a cup of coffee or tea consumed in the early afternoon can have lingering effects in the system, especially as the metabolic rate naturally slows with age. Caffeine's half-life means it can remain active for many hours, subtly lightening sleep architecture and making an individual far more susceptible to waking up from any minor internal or external disturbance. Excessive or late afternoon napping can also disrupt the homeostatic drive for sleep, reducing the sleep pressure needed to maintain consolidated nighttime rest. Consider Walter, a 74-year-old who recently transitioned into retirement. His days gradually became less structured, and his evenings grew more relaxed and quiet. He found himself having supper by 5 p.m., often dozing off in his recliner during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. most nights. Without conscious awareness, his entire daily routine had subtly shifted forward by several hours. Before long, he began to wake consistently around 3 a.m., perplexed and frustrated by his unexpected alertness before the morning light. After a period of careful self-reflection on his evolving routine, Walter proactively began making small yet strategic adjustments. He added a short, brisk walk in the late afternoon, ensuring exposure to natural light to help anchor his circadian rhythm. He deliberately engaged in mentally stimulating activities, like reading or puzzles, under brighter light during the early evening to suppress premature melatonin release and push his sleep onset later. Crucially, he also limited his naps to short, early afternoon power naps of no more than 20 minutes, or avoided them altogether to build sufficient sleep pressure for the night. These conscious, deliberate changes helped to gently nudge his natural sleep window slightly later, allowing his body to settle into a rhythm that aligned more closely with his desired wake-up time, resulting in significantly fewer pre-dawn awakenings. What is truly remarkable is how often we underestimate the profound power of routine and rhythm in guiding our biological processes. Our bodies inherently crave predictable daily patterns that function as consistent signals, instructing the brain when it's time to initiate rest and when it's time to awaken. When these signals weaken, become inconsistent, or shift inadvertently, the internal body clock can lose its precise bearings, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. However, by cultivating a mindful awareness of these patterns and making thoughtful, gentle adjustments, it is entirely possible to guide the body back toward a sleep cycle that feels more deeply restorative, more consolidated, and significantly less disrupted by those perplexing 3 a.m. awakenings. Finally, in some instances, the perplexing experience of waking up at 3 a.m. is less about the body's physiological mechanics and far more about the intricate landscape of the mind and the surfacing of profound emotional and psychological restlessness. As individuals age and the external demands of busy daily lives often recede, the emotional layers that were once actively suppressed or simply overshadowed by constant activity can begin to surface with poignant clarity in the quiet stillness of the night. These early morning hours, when the world is profoundly silent and external distractions are minimal, frequently become an intimate stage where unspoken worries, lingering regrets, unresolved grief, or deep-seated longings begin to stir and echo. One might find themselves lying awake, not because of a blaring noise or a physical ache, but because the mind is quietly yet insistently sifting through a lifetime of memories, grappling with unresolved thoughts, or contending with subtle anxieties that were perhaps unconsciously tucked away during daylight. This particular brand of restlessness differs significantly from the acute, often overwhelming anxiety that might strike in younger years. It is typically quieter, more contemplative, and often feels like a soft, persistent hum in the background. A pervasive sense that something remains unsettled or incomplete, even if its precise nature is difficult to articulate. The mind, when not actively engaged in externally driven tasks, naturally tends to revisit old relationships, reevaluate past decisions, process significant losses, or ponder words left unsaid. And because the body is no longer rushing from one responsibility to another, there is ample space for these thoughts and emotions to resonate a little louder, often reaching a crescendo in the profound silence of the night. It is also crucially important to acknowledge the role that loneliness and social isolation can play in these nocturnal awakenings. For a considerable number of older adults, social circles naturally contract over time. Children grow up and move away, lifelong friends may become busier or pass on, and established routines that provided social connection often change. While the daytime hours might be filled with some light and activity, the arrival of night ushers in a deep quiet, and with it, a heightened awareness of emotional gaps and the yearning for connection. This form of loneliness doesn't always present as an overt, heavy sadness. Sometimes it manifests simply as a quiet desire for human connection, a faint ache for someone to talk to, or a profound sense of aloneness when the house is utterly still. Consider Gloria, an 80-year-old widow who, during her waking hours, diligently kept herself busy with gardening, regular phone calls with her grandchildren, and watching her favorite television programs. Yet, consistently around 3 a.m., she would find herself wide awake, her thoughts inevitably drifting back to cherished moments shared with her late husband, or to subtle worries she instinctively kept at bay during the daylight hours. Initially, she believed her sleep itself was somehow failing her, but over time, through reflection and self-compassion, she came to understand that her early waking wasn't fundamentally about a sleep disorder. It was her heart and mind, in their quietest moments, asking to be acknowledged and heard. To gently support herself through these poignant awakenings, Gloria began keeping a small, leather-bound journal by her bedside. When she awoke, instead of battling her thoughts, she would sometimes write down whatever was on her mind. Nothing formal, just a few honest reflections, a memory, or a gentle question. This act of externalizing her internal dialogue provided a gentle release. She also incorporated a quiet, contemplative evening ritual, such as listening to soft, calming instrumental music, or writing a short, heartfelt note to a friend or family member, an act of intentional connection. These small acts of self-reflection and connection offered her emotions a gentle, non-judgmental outlet, easing her mind and helping her return to sleep more peacefully, or at least to greet the morning with a deeper sense of internal calm. The truth is, the human heart and mind do not adhere to a strict, predictable schedule for processing life's complexities. They remember what they need to remember, ask the questions they need to ask, and sometimes they choose to do all of this at 3 a.m. when the external world is quiet enough to allow these inner voices to be heard. This isn't a flaw. It is, in fact, a profound sign of emotional depth and accumulated wisdom. If one finds themselves waking up and feeling reflective or emotionally stirred, it may be an indication that they are carrying a profound well of wisdom, experiences, and emotions that are ready to be acknowledged and integrated. A life lived is a tapestry woven with joys and heartbreaks, and these experiences profoundly shape not only one's memories, but the very core of one's self. Rather than viewing these awakenings as an annoyance or a problem to be eradicated, trying to approach them with genuine curiosity and profound kindness can be transformative. What might your mind be trying, ever so gently, to communicate? What unspoken truth needs to be given voice? What part of your being needs a little extra grace and understanding, even in the profound darkness of the early morning? Sometimes, the most meaningful and restorative kind of rest comes not from striving to ignore or suppress these moments of emotional surfacing, but from honoring them, giving them space, and engaging with them compassionately. In doing so, one may discover not only the pathway to more restful sleep, but also a richer, deeper, and more integrated understanding of oneself in this unique and evolving stage of life. As we bring this comprehensive exploration to a close, it is beneficial to take a quiet, introspective moment to reflect on the insights presented. What particular aspect or explanation resonated most profoundly with your personal experience? Was it the revelation of your internal clock subtly shifting forward, the awareness of nuanced changes in your overall health, or perhaps something even deeper, an emotional rhythm that exclusively reveals itself when the world outside is hushed and still? Each of these 5 powerful reasons offers a distinct and illuminating lens through which to comprehend your early morning awakenings. And crucially, none of them unequivocally point to something inherently wrong or fundamentally broken within you. On the contrary, they each serve to illustrate just how profoundly and intricately your body and mind continue to work in harmony, ceaselessly responding, constantly adapting, and perpetually evolving as you navigate through this significant and rich stage of life. There is an immense quiet power inherent in truly understanding what your body and mind are endeavoring to communicate, especially during those soft, contemplative hours before the full light of dawn. Rather than perceiving 3 a.m. awakenings as a mere nuisance or an inconvenience to be endured, you might begin to consciously reframe them as profound messages, gentle, persistent signals that are subtly reminding you to listen a little more attentively to your deepest needs, to critically evaluate your established habits, and to tenderly honor the quiet promptings of your heart. You are unequivocally not alone in experiencing these unique nocturnal phenomena, and you are certainly not the only one actively searching for meaningful answers and deeper understanding. However, with the acquisition of insight comes an inherent sense of strength, and with that newfound strength comes the liberating freedom to implement small yet profoundly meaningful changes that can genuinely support better rest, cultivate deeper comfort, and foster a more robust, harmonious connection to your own unique and evolving biological rhythms. If you have recognized elements of your own experience within any of the reasons explored today, understand that you are not simply aging passively, you are actively evolving, undergoing a complex and beautiful metamorphosis. And with this evolution comes an invaluable opportunity to approach rest with greater intention, to care for yourself with increased gentleness and profound compassion, and to greet each new morning with a heightened sense of understanding, profound appreciation, and genuine inner peace.